of your vision, the glass building with the curved facade, that is called River Point. It is, it dramatically ends this part of the river. It was designed in 2017 by Pickard Chilton. And you might say, why does it have that curve on the front? And that is definitely because it's built over railway tracks. So they had to follow the spaces between the tracks to put down piers. Look at the cut on the top. There's an arch on the base, and we're going to see this building close up and personal in just a couple of minutes. But for now, I want to tell you about the best building voted, the best building of the year. What year was it? 1984. Coming up on your left as we go under the bridge, you will get a perfect view of 333 West Wacker. It's sheathed in glass, green glass, and silvery trim. You will really, it knocked our socks off. It was a New York architect came here for the very first time. Never built anything here before, and we gave him this magnificent corner on which to build. So this building, while it echoes the color of the river, it also echoes the curve that happens here in the river. They went on to build many other buildings, but ladies, you'll like this. The second building they built was Bloomingdale's on Michigan Avenue. So right away, they were successful. Well, let me look at it. So it's sunny right now. So you cannot quite see how green the river is, but they both are very green. So 333 West Wacker. Now, one of the most important things in Chicago happened right where the building next to it is, where the green bushes are. Right there, there is a plaque, and it says this: in 1860, on this spot, Abraham Lincoln was nominated to be president. A hotel was built here. There was an auditorium called the Wigwam Auditorium. All of you who've studied your American history probably know that. But on that spot, that's where Abraham Lincoln was nominated. The river to your left goes south to the Mississippi. And now we are coming up on River Point. This building straight ahead of you, look at that sculpture. It is done by Santiago Calatrava of Spain. Magnificent, and look how the building sits on that site. All this decking that's with the round windows all covers the railway tracks. So these windows aren't really windows, they're for air to get to the railway. But this building, this decking is heavily and beautifully landscaped. So there we have River Point by Pickard Chilton, and coming up on your left, beautiful condo building that when purchased in 2002 had magnificent views. But what happened was 2016, the building right across the way was designed. I have learned from this that never buy an apartment or a condo for the view if you are across from a parking lot, because somehow it never works out how you want. The oldest building on our tour, if you are here from Europe, you will say that's not old, 1898. I know it sounds pretty new to most of you. This was a cold storage warehouse with a deep, look at how deep, how thick the walls are. It had horsehair in here to keep it cold. And after 1980s, those windows were punched in, those balconies were made, and it's a condo building. And coming up on your left, I hope you'll be smiling about looking at this. 4 River Cottages by Harry Blees, one of our great Chicago architects. The first 2 are 6 stories, the second 2 are 4 stories. Look at the ship angles all over this building, and of course porthole windows, 4 stories. If you wanted to buy one about 4 years ago and you had $2.3 million, then you would be able to do that. But that's how popular the river is today. It seems many people love to live on the river. It wasn't always that way. We're going to go back to the 1970s because on your right is what's called the East Bend Club. I know that pre-COVID there were more than 10,000 members here. Are you waving to your friend? She lives in Chicago. That's why I asked her. Maybe she had a friend there. But look at the windows here. They were not part of the original building. As I said, it was the 1970s. By the way, there's everything you could possibly want in this building in terms of swimming and tennis, machinery and so forth. So it turned its back on the river because at this point, 1970s, the river was considered toxic, which it was. But if you turn your heads to the left, you will see 2002 attitudes have changed because this is a gated community and it is very popular. To know when this was built and even today, although the river was toxic in the 1970s, today it is merely polluted. Yes, and that's what we are living on here. So this is a rather industrial part of the river, but great things are happening here, which I will tell you about in a moment. So to say, by the way, I said old buildings have been repurposed sometimes many times. Those of you who may remember Wallace Business Forms, this was their warehouse, 1909. Again, you see those little black balconies attached to the wall of an old building. No, that is a condominium. All those windows, doors were punched in. Dates from 1909 today. It's used very happily by many people. Yes, it is very. Still on. That's good. Okay, so moving along here, we are coming to a park that we have named after one of our heroes. Who was that? Well, we've had quite a few heroes here, but the one I am talking about now is Aaron